Welcome to the Rise and Grind Workshop. If you're new here, my name is Ryan, and if you want to learn how to turn a piece of blank canvas into a nice piece of wall art utilizing a UV printer, you might want to stick around for this video. Let's dive right into it. For today's project, you don't need any special materials. This right here is an 11 by 14 inch blank canvas, and you should be able to pick this stuff at most of your local big box stores. The first thing I need to get taken care of is the artwork, and we already know the canvas size, 11 by 14. Let's jump into Adobe Illustrator and I'll show you how to get your artwork set up. Let's jump right into this. For today's tutorial, we will be using Adobe Illustrator. So the first thing you want to do is go up to File, New, and again, what was the size of our canvas? It was 11 by 14. So over here on the right-hand side, make sure you have inches selected. And again, our width is 11 and our height is 14 inches. We're gonna be working in CMYK color mode, and our raster effects, we're at 300 right now. That's kind of irrelevant because the artwork that we bring in needs to be 300. Go ahead and hit Create. Now that we have our blank artboard set up, we need to remember one thing. This is 11 by 14. So the first thing I'm gonna go ahead and do is come over here and grab my rectangle tool, and I'm gonna hold down Shift and drag this down. Now I'm gonna scroll over here to the right-hand side, go to my properties, and again, I'm going to unlock this. I wanna make my width 11 inches, and we wanna make our height 14 inches. Now go and head over here to the fill, and I'm gonna take away the fill, put nothing in there, and then for the stroke, we're gonna make that black. I'm just gonna move that to 0.5. So now we have a black rectangle that's the exact size of our canvas. And this is what we're gonna use to print directly on the UV flatbed so we can align our artwork. Now I can go ahead and highlight this, and we can just center that to the artboard really quick. There we go. With our border created, we're gonna go up to File, Export. I'm gonna choose Export As, and I'm gonna save this as Chicago PNG. Go and hit Export, hit OK. We now have our border. Now let's go up here and find the file we actually wanna print. So I'm gonna go File, Place. I've got my Chicago PNG right here. We're gonna go ahead and drop that in. Now here's what I like to do personally. Our canvas is 11 by 14, and I want to make sure I get a full print over the edges of that canvas. So if you look over here at the right-hand side, you're going to notice my canvas is actually 11.25 by 14.29. So I'm almost a 1/4 inch over on the X and the Y, which equates to about an 1/8 inch on each side. That's going to give me really good coverage. So once again, we're just going to come in here and we're going to center this up just to make sure. Now we can go ahead and grab the Chicago design, and let's move right over here to that opacity, and let's just bring that opacity down. Now with that opacity down, you're gonna see how this is just going over the edge of the X and the Y. That's exactly what we want. Let's go ahead and put that back up to 100%. Now that I've confirmed my artwork is gonna land where I want it, let's go ahead and delete out that border, and once again, we can center this back into our artboard. From this point forward, it's going to be up to you. If you're printing on white, you can choose to put a spot color behind this. Some people don't put a spot color behind it. Me personally, I found on some of these darker prints, if I do put a small white spot channel, even though I'm printing on a white canvas, I just get a much better pop off of that canvas. So I'm going to go ahead and File, export this. I'm going to export it as Chicago 11, 14 canvas. We're going to export this out as a PNG. 300 DPI, very important. Now let's move over to Photoshop, and just like Illustrator, we're going to go up to File, Open, and we're going to locate the PNG file. That's the Chicago 114 canvas PNG. We've now brought that file in. Now there's a couple ways to do a spot channel on artwork like this. I'm going to go ahead and come down here and hover over the icon on the layers panel. I'm going to right click on that thumbnail, select pixels, then I'm going to come up here to the select. I'm going to go over here to modify, contract, and I'm going to contract by 1 pixel. I'm basically telling this artwork I would like a white base, 1 pixel inset from the image. That way I don't have white poking out from the overall design. Now we're going to move back over here to this layers panel, but we're going to move over to the right where it says channels, and then we're going to go ahead and go over to these little tabs right here. Click on that, and you're going to notice one that says new spot channel. Click on new spot channel, and right there, you're going to get this W1. My color just happens to be red. Don't freak out. The red just represents where that white base is going to be laid down. Let's click OK. We now have a spot channel behind our artwork. Our final step will be go back up to File, and then we will Save As. And we're going to save this as a TIFF file, as that's what our UV printer software requires. So there we have a Chicago 1 1114 canvas, and that's a TIFF file. So let's go ahead and save that. Go ahead and click OK and OK. If you own a laser or you're used to laser engraving, we have the luxury of having a red dot indicator that can actually outline where we would laser engrave. With a UV printer, you don't have that luxury. That's why we created that border, and we're going to print that directly onto this flatbed material. So in order to do that, we're simply going to raise this bed up and get that in focus. The ZZ2C does have an infrared laser beam that runs across this table. All I have to do is raise that table up until it bottoms out. Once you hear that clicking, we are in focus and we're ready to print that border directly on this bed. Now that our artwork is all set up, let's jump into Print EXP. This is our RIP software that controls our ZZ2C flatbed printer. The first thing you're going to do is find the import icon and go and click on that. We already downloaded that Chicago border that we created in Adobe Illustrator. So let's go ahead and bring that into Print EXP. We're going to leave that the original size and we're going to press OK. The way my Print EXP is set up, mine automatically snaps to the bottom right-hand corner. But here's the trick that I want to show you guys. If you have not calibrated your printer, this is why most people struggle. Over here on the right-hand side, you're going to see this icon that says horizontal center, and then right next to that, you're going to have your vertical center. So just go ahead and click the horizontal center once and the vertical center once. Go up to your preview, and we're going to hit 100%. Right here, if I come back into the view and I choose display border, you can now see we have an 11-inch by 14-inch border, and that is dead center. The big white area, that represents the vacuum bed or the table or the print area on our UV printer. So all we're going to do right now is take all the guesswork out of the alignment, and we've just automatically centered it left, right, up, and down. So we're going to go over to the spot control, and my spot level 1 controls my white. So I'm going to choose none. Then we're going to drop down to spot channel 2, which is my varnish, and we're going to choose none. Go ahead and click OK. All we're wanting to do is print a black outline on the bed. We don't need white behind it, and we don't need varnish behind it. So our ZZ2C features a 13-inch by 23.5-inch print area. And right now we are just printing this border directly in the center of that working area. And if you're new to UV printing, those purple lights are an ultraviolet light, and this machine uses a special type of ink that the moment it's laid down and those ultraviolet light rays hit that ink, it automatically or instantly cures it. So that ink is dry to the touch right now. So right there on the printing surface, you can see that black outline starting to be printed directly onto the surface. So now you can see we have this thin border printed directly onto the UV print bed. Next up, go ahead and grab your ruler and double check. So we are 11 inches in width, and let's go ahead and double check our y-axis. And we're also at 14 inches. Our ZZ2C has been properly calibrated. If your box does not turn out to be the correct size that you told it to print, drop a comment down below and we could do a tutorial on how to calibrate your axis. So at this point in the video, I think you're following along with the program. We have an 11 by 14 blank canvas, and we literally just printed an 11 by 14 border right here on the table. Now all you have to do is take your blank canvas and set that right here on the border. Now here's a pro tip for you that I've learned when printing canvas. You're going to notice this does have some flex down and up. Anytime you're printing, you always want to stay in optimal focal length. Sometimes the heat from those UV lamps can start to lift up your print, and it's going to put that out of focus. And worse yet, your print head might even rub across that print, damaging your print head and ruining the print. So here's a pro tip I'm going to share with you right now. When I'm printing on my canvas, I like to find a scrap piece of wood like this pine board here. You can pick this stuff up from your local big box store. What you're doing is simply making sure that the thickness of this material matches the inset thickness of your canvas, like so. So what I'm going to do is take this board and I'm just going to center this up right here in our outline. And then I'm going to take my canvas and I'm going to set the canvas over the top of that. Now I'm going to go ahead and get my canvas squared up perfectly in that border that we printed right on the UV printer. Now when I touch the center, that canvas is not going to move up or down. And just to make sure we don't have any additional issues, I go ahead and activate the vacuum table. Let's jump back into Print EXP, show you how we set that artwork up and get that sent over to the printer. We no longer need this border. Go ahead and hit delete. We now need to import the artwork we want to print on the canvas. Go ahead and locate the import button one more time, and here is our Chicago artwork. And again, keep this the original size, and like my border, it snaps to the lower right-hand corner. If your machine is calibrated and your 00 is down on that front corner, you don't need to go through these extra steps. This is just a foolproof way to get your product centered and aligned in the material. So once again, we're going to simply take that artwork and we're going to move over there to the horizontal and the vertical auto centering. We've now centered that exactly where our border was. Now we're going to control the spot colors just like we did on the border. However, this time on channel 1, I am going to go ahead and activate a spot color. I'm just going to go ahead and choose all on that because I have a spot color behind that entire graphic, and I don't want a big heavy base of white. So I'm honestly just going to come in here and put that on the factory setting, which is 0, and we're going to go ahead and click OK. We have our printer in focus just like we did for the border. We are now ready to send this over to the printer. So once again, go ahead and click on print, and we're just going to use 8-pass for this as well. Now that you have your artboard on the UV printer, don't forget to put it back in focus. You don't want to crash your print head into that canvas. We printed directly on that bed, so you're going to need to make sure you lower that down. We're in focus. Let's get printing. So right now you can see the way this UV printer is working. It came in and started laying that white base down before the color. Not only that, you can see a little bit of the overspray on the outside of the canvas. Remember, we made our border 11 by 14, but we made the actual print 11 1/4 by 14 1/4, which gives me an 1/8 inch overspray on the X and the Y axis. That way we get a full print all the way out to the outer edge of that canvas. And that right there is going to give you a better view of seeing that overspray just on the outside of the X and the Y. And then we're getting our full color on top of that canvas print. Our print just finished. Let's go ahead and lift this up off of the table and take a quick look at that. Again, guys, fully dry to the touch. We use soft ink so this can flex in and out. You're not getting any cracking. That's an incredible print on a basic canvas. Let's make our way back over to the UV flatbed printer and look at the damage done after that print. I get lots of questions about how to clean up your table, or people freak out about their table looking like this after a print. Let me show you how simple this is. I'm just going to take a little isopropyl alcohol. I'm going to get that on a rag. I'm literally going to take my rag and just clean up the wet, loose stuff. With a little bit of that alcohol still on the table, it's as simple as taking a razor blade and scraping up that excess ink. Give it one more wipe down. If you see any extra overspray, go ahead and use that razor blade. And your table is now clean. Now this is just one of many different substrates or materials you can print on a UV flatbed printer. If you had access to a printer like this right now, what would you be printing on? Drop a comment down below and let me know what other projects would you like to see me use this UV printer for. And again, guys, I thank each and every one of you that follows and supports this channel. I couldn't do it without you. As always, we'll have a discount code and more information on both of these UV printers down below. Take a look at Jay's Printer Parts today. We'll catch you guys on the next video.
Oh,